Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today is the 14th of April. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to get straight into the video. So as you can see from the title, today I'm going to be talking about how to prevent binge eating after fasting. Now this is a topic that I really had to research. I had to, because I'm doing quite well on my fasts. If you don't know, I'm currently doing a month of rolling 5-day fasts. So what that means is throughout the month of April, is it throughout the month of April? Yes, sorry. Throughout the month of April, I'm going to be doing 5-day fasts, breaking it over 2 days, Sunday and Monday, and then go back into another 5-day fast. The issue I have been having is that rather than just having probably a small 3-hour refeed window, I've been eating in an 8-hour window, and eating not terrible, not very junk foody, but still not getting great results on the scale because of how I'm refeeding. And I thought, okay, so if I don't sort this out, the fasts become pointless because I'm not losing as much weight, or if any weight. That's why I've chosen this topic. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about this topic. I really don't. I've had to do a lot of research. So when I first started to research like how to prevent binge eating after a fast, what came up was something called the protein leverage hypothesis. Never heard of it before. So I'm going to read to you what Google says this is. The protein leverage hypothesis states that human beings will prioritize the consumption of protein in food over other dietary components and will eat until protein needs have been met, regardless of energy content, thus leading of overconsumption of foodstuffs when their protein content is low. So what I took from that was, if you haven't met your protein levels that you know the levels that you need to be at, you're just going to keep eating, trying to find enough. Still wasn't fully sure what all of it meant, so I continued into doing some research, and apparently I came across this. So, which I can't, well, to be honest, I did know this, but if you overeat on carbs, it stores fat. If you overeat on fat, that also stores. But if you overeat on protein, that doesn't store. So that's something that I'm not sure if I learned that in college or school. I do feel like it sounds kind of familiar, but I just didn't know enough about it. So I had to continue doing research, and this is what I found. Human beings aren't able to store protein for the most part. The human body can break down its muscle tissue to get certain amino acids or the building blocks of protein, but it has no specialized cells to store protein efficiently as it does fat and carbohydrate. For this reason, eating protein regularly is of paramount importance. So then that brought me on to another question, because like the more you read, the more questions you're going to have. Why is protein so important? Again, this is something I definitely know I was taught. I don't know if I've got memory problems, or I just didn't care enough at the time to fully understand it. So I had to do some research into why is protein so important. Proteins are essential for growth and maintenance of your body tissues. Through digestion and absorption, proteins from the foods you eat are broken down and then reformulated. And then it goes on to say about how protein is also important for growth and development in children, teens and pregnant women. Yes. They're broken down into parts called amino acids during digestion. I did know that. So, when you're fasting, right, just another thought. When you're fasting, your protein needs are not being met. Okay, that's agreed. So, my question is, if they're not being met and you need them, they're so important, why don't we crave them? So, this took me to YouTube. I wanted to find out more in depth about, this thing that I need so much of. Why don't I crave it when I'm fasting? So I went over to YouTube and I was watching this guy called, I'm going to put his name on the screen because I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, okay? Thomas DeLauer. Anyway, he was saying that when we're fasting, it doesn't really matter because our body is running off fats and our muscles are being preserved. So it's not craving protein. But as soon as we eat, that's when things switch over to eating mode, and things shift into protein prioritization, okay? So that's when the body is like, okay, you've started to eat now, we need this protein. But we don't know that that's what the body is doing. All we know is we've started to eat and we're hungry. and we're eating carbs, we're eating fats, and we're eating a lot of food and we're still hungry. An example of this is Radia, me, in her 8-hour window, eating after a fast, and then getting on the scale and being upset when I didn't realise that I wasn't hungry for everything, all that stuff I was eating. I was hungry for protein and I wasn't eating enough protein. So that was kind of like, nice to know. Like, I'm learning something useful here that's going to help me hopefully with my next refeeds. So then that brings us on to what should we do about it. So Thomas was saying that we should break our fast with lean protein, not whey protein, because apparently that spikes insulin. So some examples of lean protein would be, I've got a list here. So some examples of lean protein would be white fleshed fish, plain Greek yogurt, beans, peas, lentils, skinless white meat, low-fat cottage cheese, tofu, and lean beef. But guys, don't forget, all you need to do is literally type into Google what are some examples of lean protein, and you'll get a lot more come up as well. So at least you get an idea of what they look like. Also though, he recommends that, so you know when you first break your fast, so you're about to refeed now, it's just to refeed, because again, this is something that I would never have a clue about. So you know how some people can look at the packet of food and they're like, okay, such and such amount of carbs, such and such amount of fat, so this is what I need. They weigh their food and all this stuff. I don't do any of that, and to be honest with you, I'm not going, I had no plan. When it comes to like day-to-day foods, I have no plans. Like, I'm just not that interested. But when it comes to this now, I have to do this like experiment to see if it helps with the refeed. So I'm gonna have to start weighing food, aren't I? Well, protein at least, because Thomas says that you should have 30 to 40 grams of lean protein when you first break your fast. So just lean protein, whatever you choose for that to be. And then 60 to 90 minutes later, have 40 grams of lean protein, but with something with soluble fibre. An example of things with soluble fibre might be oat bran, barley, nuts, seeds, beans, lentils, peas, some fruit and veg. And again, just type it into Google, some examples of things that contain soluble fibres, and you'll get a list come up. And the reason why, when you eat again after that 60 to 90 minutes and you have that 40 grams of protein, the reason why you're supposed to have it with something with soluble fibre is apparently that helps to release less hunger hormones. So, guys, I've just had a light bulb moment. Don't laugh after me, right? Please don't laugh at me. But how would I be right in saying that he's just basically saying break your fast keto? He's basically saying break your fast keto. He's not saying just eat keto, because after you've done, like, you've met your protein needs, you can then have your rice or whatever. But I guess you wouldn't eat as much of those carbs because you would have ate enough protein, and so being full, satiated as they say, and then you probably wouldn't want that much rice or bread, or if at all. So basically break your fast keto. Guys, I love learning. I'm always willing to learn, but I'm not always the sharpest tool. Anyway, I thought that was all very interesting, and so with my next refeeds, I'm going to follow this plan and see if I can eat less when I refeed and see more results on the scale. Guys, as always, if you have made it to this point in the video, you know I'm truly grateful. If you're subscribed, again, I'm grateful. If you're not subscribed and you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing, because I am trying to reach a short-term goal of 1,000 subscribers. That would just mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.